Well, greetings, my beloved clients and friends. I wanted to talk to you today about something I heard occurred recently, and it talks about the value of working with a financial advisor. And I heard about this widow who her husband died tragically a few years back, and he was still kind of young, and so she was kind of young too, and like in their 40s, and they had done everything right. They were working, raising a family, putting money away, aggressively putting money away, and they had built up a pretty nice nest egg. So he died tragically at a young age, but he had left her in pretty good shape. And a few years later, uh, she starts taking money out of this investment, her investment accounts, like large sums, and wouldn't explain or share with her financial advisor what she was doing, just other than a business opportunity. And the 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 withdrawals continued, pretty big amounts, and the financial advisor got curious. So he asked the client what was the purpose of these withdrawals, and the client really didn't want to divulge that, and the advisor became concerned because he'd been in the business a long time, worked with many widows, and sometimes they get themselves in situations and perhaps even get taken advantage of, and sometimes it involves affairs of the heart, and he kind of detected a pattern, and he started asking her questions and even divulged, I work with a lot of widows, and sometimes they don't make the best financial decisions. They let their heart get in the way. And she opened up and she said, yeah, this is a business deal with a partner, and he's in the construction business, and he has a big project, and he needs some money, so I lent it to him. He said it's coming back, and she started saying these things that were just red flags in the advisor's ears, about needs to open an offshore account, and it's a big construction project overseas, and it just sounded like something that the advisor had heard about before. And he started asking some more questions, and fortunately convinced the client to not take the withdrawal, and to really consider the validity of that relationship, and thereby protecting the client from going through those resources that they had, as a couple, built up over many years. And so when, as an advisor, having worked with thousands of people over the last 30 plus years, I've seen a lot of things, and I've seen money and family and relations, and it really has an effect. And I work with clients through their retirement and planning for retirement and in retirement, and to get them to the finish line without running out of money. And unfortunately, that I haven't had to tell clients two things that I never want to say. You got to go back to work. and you're out of money. Those things are two things I never want to say. And so as a fiduciary, I do my best to protect my clients. And so when we have quarterly reviews, we talk about not just how the accounts are doing and how the markets and the economy is doing, but how are you doing? And any changes in your life as far as relationships or address changes. When we see these beneficiary changes or adding someone to the account, we make sure it's not jeopardizing the client. Because I had another situation that someone was out of the country for an extended period of time, and they added someone whom they trusted to their account to make it easier while they were out of town to do financial matters. And it went sideways. That person ended up taking money out of the person's account, like large amounts. And so we've seen these types of things, and we know how to structure the beneficiaries, the title, and things to be aware of, red flags. And then another situation where a client had a property, and they're thinking about options, what to do, and we discussed different options and helped them come up with a solution. So it's just not picking stocks for clients. That what we do is we manage their finances and help protect them, not only from the risk in the market, but the risk with having family, and the risk with having money, and fraud. And I had another situation where I got an email from a client that was asking me to send some money, and it just didn't seem right. So I called the client and I said, hey, I got this email that you wanted me to send some money. And he's like, that wasn't me. And he had been a victim of identity theft. And or not that he had not been a victim, but someone tried to, and we stopped it. And so I just want to talk about why sometimes we ask questions when we get a withdrawal request or a change to the account, or we're trying to protect you. And I just want to let you know that we're here. We've seen a lot of stuff, and if you ever have something that feels kind of funny, run it by us, and we're here for that. I had another client recently send me an email and say, hey, I got this request, is it legit? And fortunately this one was legit. But I said, anytime you see something like that, run it by me, because especially now with AI and all these things, there's opportunities for people to try to get your money, and it looks really legit, and it's out there, and we're trying to do what we can to protect you from that kind of thing, from making bad choices about the titling of the accounts. And there's a lot of areas where where you need to be careful. And there's a lot of situations where there's investments that sound really good, and if it's too good to be true, maybe it is. And I just came back from the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting where Warren Buffett announced his retirement. There was thousands of people at this thing, over 40,000 people. When he announced it, there was the longest standing ovation I've ever experienced for this guy. And what made him such a legend, and they call him the Oracle of Omaha, because over a 60-year period, he averaged close to 20% returns. that was his average return, and that gave him that made him a legend. It also made him one of the wealthiest people in the world. And I say that because 20% annual returns is almost unheard of. And when someone offers you some type of thing with the promise of high returns, if it's close to 20 or more, I mean, that's almost unheard of. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of these, trading strategies and things where they give the impression that you're gonna, double your money every year, or every month, or 10% a month. That's no way. I mean, if they could do that, there'd be 40,000 people traveling around the world to hear what they have to say and paying their own way and not have, you know what I mean? They'd be as more famous than Warren Buffett. So, and then a lot of investments, the allure is the structure of the investment. And Benjamin Graham said if the allure is the structure, because it's in his book he talked about a participating preferred note, which was the flavor du jour. But Wall Street always comes out with things, limited partnerships and Delaware corporations and variable universal life and all these things where, oh yeah, I could take out my money for free and all these bells and whistles. If the investment needs that many bells and whistles, it's probably not, it can't stand on its own merits, and that's something you should be concerned about. So we've seen a lot of things in the 30 years of business, and we're here to protect you. We try to do things for your benefit. We're a fiduciary. We're obligated to do that. We don't take commission on it. We don't have anything to sell. We only get paid for advice. And as a matter of fact, as I'm getting a little bit older and I like riding motorcycles and stuff, sometimes clients ask me, well, what if something happens to you, Jonathan? And so we're having conversations with other parties to have a good answer for that. I mean, we do have some plans, but we want to formalize something, and we're talking to other parties, and it's very difficult because I need to find someone that has a similar investment philosophy to myself, that I know if something happened to me, I'd feel confident with them working with my clients, and if they have ability to give advice not only about investing but tax and legal matters as well. That's something that we're looking at, we're interviewing right now. So I just want to put this out to let you know that we're here to protect you. If you ever have something that you want to run past us, you don't feel good about or whatever, we're a resource. And if we see something that, like, hey, maybe you're getting into something that's not in your best interest, we're going to say something. And at the end of the day, it's your money, and I can't stop you from doing what you're going to do with it. But I'll do my best to help protect you and guide you to prudent and safe choices with your money. Not just companies we buy in the market, but just in general. So I just wanted to put that out there and let you know that we're here for you, and I hope you guys have a great day.